Welcome back to Cinematic Recap. Today I've picked up a pretty good movie to recap for you. A billion years ago, life was a gift. But looking at where we are now, what have we really done with it? History tells us the first woman was named Lucy, a primitive ancestor. But today, we meet a new Lucy, one who isn't just evolving. She is colonizing the final frontier, her own mind. It was supposed to be simple, easy as pie, in and out. A young woman caught in the wrong place, with the wrong man, at the worst possible time. The mystery was locked inside a silver case. Paperwork, he said. But trust is a dangerous currency in the streets of Taipei. Richard was just a delivery boy, but he was delivering Lucy into a nightmare. The moment the handcuffs clicked, her old life ended. She had no choice, no way out, only forward, into the lair of Mr. Jiang. Inside the case wasn't paper. It was 4 pouches of a shimmering blue powder. CPH4. To the mob, it's a product. To the universe, it's the spark of creation. In a mother's womb, it builds bones. In Lucy's blood, it will build a god. As Professor Norman explains, 1 neuron, and you are alive. 2 neurons, and you start to move. Most life forms are stagnant, trapped at 5% of their potential. Humans reach 10%. We built cities, technology, and art. But what happens at 100%? The truth is, we have no idea. The evolution didn't happen in a lab. It happened in a filthy cell. The bag broke. The synthetic drug began to leak into her system. Suddenly, the world was no longer a mystery. She could feel everything. The vibration of the air. The very rotation of the planet beneath her feet. She wasn't just thinking anymore. She was feeling her brain expand. Memories buried for decades resurfaced. The taste of milk. The warmth of a hand. A final, tearful goodbye to her humanity. Because soon, pain, fear, and desire would become nothing more than biological obstacles. Everything that makes us human is, in her eyes, now primitive. She looks at her captors and sees only their limitations. Their obsession with pain. She doesn't want revenge. She wants the rest of the CPH4. She wants to see how far this goes. Evolution isn't a gift. It's a violent, agonizing expansion. Lucy doesn't just see the world differently. She hears the internal mechanics of her own biology. The sound of cells dividing. The friction of bone against muscle. It's a sensory overload that would break a normal mind. But Lucy isn't normal anymore. She is becoming a spectator to her own existence. Across the world, the one man who predicted this receives a call that defies everything he knows. Norman has spent his life writing theories that he never thought he'd see in the flesh. For Lucy, 6,000 pages of research are consumed in a heartbeat. Data isn't just read, it is absorbed. At 20%, the gate is thrown wide open. The biological shackles are discarded. Every limitation, every reflex, every instinct begins to collapse. Norman's life's work is realized in a woman who is already halfway to the finish line. She is no longer confined to her own skin. Her reach extends to the atoms around her. The invisible world, Wi-Fi, radio, electricity, becomes her playground. The digital signals we use to communicate are, to her, as tangible as a brick wall. But there is a tragedy in this growth. To gain everything, she must lose herself. Empathy, love, desire, they are replaced by a cold, infinite sea of information. Her brain is a supernova of knowledge, and it's threatening to burn her out. A god with no purpose, a vessel with too much content. Norman offers the only logical path, reproduction, not of the body, but of the mind, to hand down knowledge through time, to ensure that her existence isn't just a flash in the pan. The countdown begins. 12 hours until 100%. 12 hours until the end of Lucy as a person. She recruits an ally, not because she needs protection, but because she needs a witness. To Del Rio, she is a ghost in the machine, a voice that knows his every move. Time is the enemy. It is the only unit of measure that still applies to her. Lucy doesn't follow the rules of the road. She follows the rules of physics. Experience is irrelevant when you can calculate the trajectory of every car on the street in real time. As she nears the university, her perspective on mortality shifts. She sees the world not as objects, but as a giant web of communication. We are just patterns, deforming, reforming, temporary shapes in an eternal dance. Our math, our logic, our social systems, they are just sketches, human-sized lies. We fear the unfathomable, so we created numbers and letters to hide from it. Without time, matter is nothing. A car speeding down a road only exists because of time. And Lucy is running out of it. She doesn't seek power. She seeks the death of ignorance. The ultimate legacy, a mind beyond biology, preserved for a species that isn't ready for it. The metamorphosis is no longer a choice. It is a biological race against time. Lucy is a candle burning at both ends, fueled by a substance that is rebuilding her at a molecular level. At the university, the skeptics are silenced not by words, but by the impossible reality of her presence. Privacy is a relic of the past when you can read the electrical impulses of every soul in the room. She doesn't just see people, she sees their history, their tragedies, and their deepest pains. Lucy realizes that humanity is not a collection of individuals, but a vast, interconnected web of data. We are blinded by our own ego, clinging to the idea that we are the center of the universe. Our math is a lie. Our systems are just a way to make the infinite seem small. In the end, only time matters. It is the canvas upon which matter is painted. But while Lucy ascends, the world she is leaving behind refuses to let go. Chaos erupts in the hallways, but inside the lab, there is only the cold, hard drive toward 100%. She requires the final dose, a lethal amount of CPH4 to crack the final seals of her mind. This is not medicine. This is a controlled explosion of consciousness. The violence outside is the perfect example of human ignorance, a struggle for power over something they cannot understand. She prepares her legacy, a gift for a species that is still crawling in the dark. The machine and the woman become one, carbon and silicon merging into a single entity. The final evolution is complete. The physical form is no longer necessary. A billion years of struggle, evolution, and pain led to this single moment of transcendence. The message is clear. The gift of life has been decoded. Now, the rest is up to us. The realization of her transformation begins with a violation of her own body. A simple cut, a horizontal slit that changed the course of human history. They treated her like a container, a vessel for a product they didn't even understand. To the traffickers, CPH4 was just a high, a way to make a profit. But the truth is much more profound. It is the chemical of creation. Nature provides it in drops. Lucy absorbed it in liters. By all medical laws, she should be dead. But the drug isn't killing her, it's rewriting her. Death is coming, but not in the way we recognize it. Every character who crosses her path sees the physical marks of her journey. Even Del Rio, a hardened cop, cannot process the godlike power she wields. With a flick of her mind, she can switch off human consciousness like a light bulb. He asks if he should be afraid. But fear is a human emotion she has already left behind. She visits her friend, a stark reminder of the life she can no longer lead. While her friend talks about auditions and love, Lucy sees only failing organs and biological data. She gives advice she no longer needs, because her lifestyle is now defined by the speed of light. The doctors warn her of the end, but Lucy is already looking past survival. Her body is a battlefield. The old human cells are fighting a losing war against the future. To reach the end, she must destroy the very thing that keeps her here. We circle back to the beginning, the billion-year journey of a single cell. The final words aren't a conclusion. They are a challenge to us, the 10%ers. Mr. Zhang represents the old world, a world governed by ego, possession, and the desire to destroy what it cannot own. While the mob brings guns and grenades, Lucy is bringing the end of human limitation. The physical world is screaming, but Lucy has already tuned out the noise. Her body is liquefying. Carbon is no longer strong enough to hold the weight of her mind. The moment of departure isn't a death, it's a transition. She demands the last of the blue substance, the final spark for the atomic bomb inside her cells. Norman fears for her life. Lucy is already looking at the birth of the stars. Is humanity ready to see the world without the filter of numbers and letters? To a primitive mind, truth looks like madness. Knowledge looks like chaos. But Lucy knows better. Chaos isn't the presence of information, it's the absence of it. She promises a bridge, a way for the 10%ers to finally cross over. Norman realizes this is the ultimate act of reproduction, the passing of universal truth. The lab becomes a temple of black matter. The architecture of the future is being built in the present, not a machine made by hands, but a machine born from pure consciousness. Zhang enters a room where his target has vanished. He is looking for a woman, but she is now the air he breathes. The circle is complete, from the first cell to the absolute mind. The story of Lucy isn't about a superpowered drug. It's about the responsibility of being alive. We are left where we started, with the gift of time. And the question remains, what will we do with the time we have left? Luc Besson's film isn't really about superpowers. It's about the nature of existence through the lens of time. When the habitat is no longer nurturing, the cell chooses immortality. This is exactly what happened to Lucy. She no longer needs oxygen, food, or even a physical body. She becomes an absolute, self-managed system. But that immortality is meaningless without a legacy. Pass it on. That is the final command of life. We often fear what we do not understand. We call evolution chaos, but Lucy teaches us that only ignorance truly creates chaos. Lucy's ending isn't a disappearance. It is a presence everywhere, a confirmation that information and knowledge are eternal. A billion years of evolution just to lead us to this moment, the moment we realize our true potential. The question that opened the film now serves as a powerful reminder to each of us. What are you doing with this gift of life? Hopefully, through this video essay, you've gained a deeper insight into Lucy's journey. Thank you for watching Cinematic Recap.